Um, I think Trump's assurance is now not to shut down, not to enforce the law, which is probably what he's going to do in the executive order. He hasn't done it yet. He's going to do it. He said, I don't think his promises matter. We've talked, I'll try to give a quick answer, but a president cannot negate a law. The law says that Google and Apple will suffer billions of dollars in damages if they put the TikTok app back on. Okay? Right? That's what the law says. Well, the president can't negate that. The president can't change the law. The president can say, we're not going to prosecute, meaning we're not going to hold Google and Apple responsible if, in fact, they put the app back. Thank you, Colin. In other words, yes, Google and Apple will accrue billions of dollars of fines, but don't worry. I, Donald Trump, promise you, I'm not going to come after you for the money. Well, yes, he won't come after you until he does come after you. That's the problem. This is not a legally binding, from everybody I've talked to, all the lawyers I'm a lawyer, but all the government lawyers, et cetera, I've talked to, it is not a legally binding commitment for Trump to say, I'm not going to enforce this against you. Right? Thank you, Courtney. It's not a legally binding commitment. Trump can change his mind at any point. If J.D. Vance becomes president, he can change his mind. If Republicans lose the presidency in 4 years, the Democrat that comes in can change his mind, her mind. If you're Google or Apple, and if I were a lawyer, again, I want TikTok to stay live. This is my livelihood. But if I'm Google or Apple and I'm advising them, I'm going to say, I cannot promise you that you're not going to be responsible for $100 billion in damages if you put those apps back up. And I think that's what's going on now. Google and Apple are saying, we're not comfortable. Well, statute of limitations, Harley says, is 5 years. I've heard that before. Let's assume it's true. Yeah. So for the next 5 years, Google and Apple, well, here's the problem, actually. It's even worse than that, Harley. Statute of limitations is 5 years from the day the crime is committed or the day the offense is committed. So up until 5 years from now, the president can go after Google and Apple for the fines it accrued today by having the App Store. That's a long time, right? The next presidency starts in 4 years. And Trump, who knows? Trump is old. He may step down. J.D. Vance comes. So 5 years is too long. Here's the other problem. It's 5 years. The statute of limitations is after which period you can't go after somebody for a crime or an offense or whatever. Well, here's the problem. The statute of limitations is 5 years after each offense is committed. Tomorrow, there's a new statute of limitations for 5 years. In a year, if the App Store is still up, if the app is still up, that's another 5 years. So it keeps continuing, right? Each offense gets 5 years. So anyway, my point is the 5-year statute of limitation doesn't really help. It doesn't help at all. In any case, so that's what I think is going on. I think what's going on with TikTok is TikTok never had to shut down, which is why it was easy for them to reopen. Trump's assurances legally don't matter. Biden's assurances legally don't matter. And I think let's see what happens with Trump when he puts out his executive order, which he should have done already, but he didn't. But I am not convinced there is a legal solution to this other than TikTok selling itself or Congress changing the legislation. Those are the only two things I think could happen.